Welcome to Disconnected. Please like, subscribe, comment down below, because that's where all the fun really happens, isn't it? I've been holding off commenting on this dude's videos, Mr. Richard Vobes. In my opinion, he's a little bit like a Jordan Peterson. Like, there's certain things he says which are absolutely cool and true, and I can subscribe to. But there is this layer that is where it comes from seems like strange and weird, and but I don't want to say right-wingy, but there's definitely conspiracy theory-ish. Now, I don't have necessarily a problem with conspiracy theories, because where there's smoke, there's fire sometimes. And but I'm actually going to make a video about my perception on the whole problem with conspiracy theories. Yeah, I'm going to do that because it's going to be funny. Anyway, so he's complaining that we might have to eat bugs someday. So I'm going to let you quickly listen to what he says.
Bugs. I just want us to eat bugs. I just don't get this. I've been trying to work this out in my head. Why do the people who seem to want to govern our lives on everything want us to eat bugs? I mean,
See, that there's a couple. First thing, there is this issue where when somebody makes a proposal, somebody jumps on and says they're going to make us do it tomorrow, right? So we don't know that. It has been a discussion for many, many years, even decades, that insects will become or is an alternative or an addition. I'm going to say addition to our diet.
We're at the top of the food chain. At least that's as I understood it. We're at the top of the food chain, not down there with the anteaters and our tongues sticking out, going licking.
Okay, so this is where my conspiracy theory problems start, because the problem is usually not with being a conspiracy theorist and being questioning about certain things and being suspicious. I 100% on board with that. The problem is that when they then make a video of it or talk about it, they talk about it in this way that is like dismissing it and making fun of it, of a certain thing, like this pretending to be an anteater eating ants. That's not how we are going to be eating bugs. Bugs will be processed, and we will be using the proteins that come from bugs, and that can then be used in many different things to add to our protein diet. You're not going to be forced to sit over a bowl of spiders, crunching crunchy legs. That's not how this goes. But let's just be real, right? The fact that this guy with his, I'm judging, knowing how much tweed costs, £300 jacket, all fancy dressed, in his beautifully arranged backdrop, house, whatever, doesn't know yet at his age why it is a good idea to eat or to put insects into our diet, is beyond me. Maybe he shouldn't be making videos if he doesn't fucking know that. Seriously, right? There's a lot of reasons. Number one, we absolutely know that we are using too much of land for farming because we need to feed the masses. One of the reasons we need to use so much farmland is because, not necessarily because we need to consume so much, but more because, especially the Western world, wastes so much. Bugs are extremely good source of proteins and, dare I say, fibers. So it is a really good source of protein. And again, the intention is usually not to sit there and sell a bag of dried locusts that you can then chew on. It is about using the proteins and the dietary benefits that come from bugs. The other thing is, I've never understood, if you can take a living animal like a lamb or or beef or something, and you can put a bolt through its head and then cut it up and then burn it and then eat it. How is that different? How is that? It is a psychological thing that you're used to or not used to that makes you okay to eat that, but not a bug, right? Like if you, there's so many more reasons to eat bugs than there are eating animal. And I'm not a vegan or a vegetarian. But if you think about it logically, killing an animal which has, you know, can feel pain, who wants to live, just going on with its daily business, and you're happy to eat that, you're literally eating another animal's flesh if you eat meat. And then if you eat anything else like liver or kidney, or, you know, you could theoretically say, oh, that's pretty fucking disgusting. You know, we're literally eating another thing that is very similar anatomically to us. To eating a bug, which is pretty much a few brain cells. You know, from a suffering point of view, we could argue that we impose a lot less suffering on a living being if we kill insects than it is when we kill animals. So that's one thing. Second thing is, insects have always been part of our diet as humans. We as Western society who've now been privileged and been rich, you know, we only eat the nicest piece of meat and only certain vegetables, and we irk at a lot of things that people eat, right? There is absolutely nothing weird about eating insects, especially when you think about the fact that you're not even going to be eating the insects, you're just going to be eating a processed protein derived or taken from the insect. This is such a scaremongering, over-the-top reaction. Somebody suggesting, you know what, we can get some nice proteins from bugs, and there's a shitload of bugs, so why don't we eat some bugs? Why don't we include that into our processing? In fact, there's a lot of stuff that's already that we get from bugs all the time. A lot of our pigments that we use in foods, in paints, we use bugs for shellac. We use bugs for so many things. Some people eat spiders. Some people eat octopus. I mean, octopus is a delicacy. Crayfish. You don't tell me the crayfish or a shrimp is not a fucking sea bug. But you're making such a fuss because you might have to, you know, get some processed proteins. It's insane. It is the way that he conveys this message is as if it's this massive taboo. You know, you're gonna make us eat bugs. Like, we eat bugs. We use bugs. We always have. People eat snails. Like 3-4 countries love their snails. It's a delicacy. You pay over the fucking top for snails. That's a bug. I mean, what's this guy on? This is the perfect screenshot. The screaming dude. The screaming tweed wearing dude. Boop 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 boop. Sorry, this guy just annoyed me.